William Strang came to the Glen community in 1903. His dream was to build a city, and here was where he would start. He bought 600 acres of land and then set about the task of building a railroad between Overland Park and Kansas City. On May 20th, 1906, he christened the Strang Line, the Missouri-Kansas interurban railroad with a 28-minute trip between Overland Park and Westport. A one-way ticket cost 7.5 cents. The trolleys brought thousands of people to Overland Park to watch the baseball games and air shows Strang promoted. At Aviation Park, some of America's most immortal and certainly most daring early aviators thrilled the crowds who'd come to see these brazen young men and their fledgling adventure. It was here that man first reached 500 feet in powered flight. Strang's vision of a city was beginning to take form and substance. 19 trains daily traveled east to Kansas City and west to Olathe. New homes were going up, businesses were starting, there was a new prosperity. William Strang died suddenly in 1921 at the age of 64, but the vision did not die. The seed he had planted and nurtured with his own life continued to blossom and flourish. But progress always takes a toll. Aviation Park and the baseball fields gave way to housing. The Strang cars, lifeline to Kansas City, fell victim to new roads and auto traffic. The interurban made its last run in 1940. But while the last car marked the end of an era, it was also the beginning of a new one. The same year the last Strang car ran, the Kansas legislature passed a law enabling certain townships with certain urban characteristics to form a governing body. Mission Urban Township, the legal description of Overland Park, elected a council, but they had only limited authority and no power to regulate planning and zoning. That was not much of a problem at first, but after 1946, Overland Park was a boomtown. This influx of residents brought with it commercial development, increasing urbanization, and a need for more city services the township could not provide. The solution to this problem was to seek incorporation as a city. This touched off a bitter controversy over attempts by other cities in the county to annex township land. Those in favor politely referred to the annexation as the squaring off of boundaries. But the Township Junior Chamber of Commerce simply referred to it as the Great Land Grab. A settlement was reached and the township only lost 4,000 residents to other cities. And on October 30th, 1959, by a nearly unanimous vote, the 28,000 citizens of Mission Urban Township ratified the plan to become a city. On May 20th, 1960, Overland Park became a first-class city. A long time coming, the people finally had home rule. In its 50-year history, Overland Park has been served by 7 mayors: Roy Owen, Marvin Rain, Deward Innick, Jack Walker, Ben Sykes, Ed Eilert, and current mayor Carl Gerlach. Under the wise and capable leadership of these men, Overland Park has enjoyed remarkable growth and prosperity. By 1965, the city had nearly tripled in size from 13 to 44 square miles. And just 5 years later, the population had risen to 79,000, an increase of nearly 127%. In its first decade, Overland Park had become the largest city in Johnson County, and this growth continued in all areas of the community, in retail, commercial, industrial, government, residential, and parks. As the city continued to grow, so did downtown Overland Park. The heart of Overland Park downtown has seen many businesses come and go that inhabit many of the original buildings that have stood since their construction long before incorporation. This main drag along Santa Fe is lined with shops and businesses and home to annual parades and events that have entertained the Overland Park citizens for decades. Today, downtown has seen an influx of regentrification, reconstruction, and new construction, making it a viable part of the city's economic growth. Some popular attractions in this area include the Clock Tower, Strang's Carriage House, the Rio Theater, and many more. Shortly after incorporation, the city had no official buildings to call home. Initially, they held Chamber of Commerce meetings on the second floor of a downtown shop. Early city leaders like Roy Owen, Don Pipes, and Matt Ross helped shape the way the city would progress. Eventually, the city built an official city hall where city leaders and planners mapped out the direction Overland Park would take heading towards the next century. With the city expanding and the need for more services increasing, yet another city hall was built that resides at 85th and Santa Fe. Additionally, a new municipal court was built. From leaders past to those who currently serve for the city, there has been one goal: to serve the citizens of Overland Park the best they can, while maintaining the progress and success shared by the leaders over the last 50 years. Services like a busing system and environmentally friendly hybrid cars make Overland Park a city ahead of the curve in its service to their citizens. Like City Hall, it took some time for the police department to find its current home. From 1952 to the present, the Overland Park Police Department has called many buildings home, ranging from converted houses to their current building, located at 85th and Antioch. The Overland Park Fire Department was independent of the city for some time and relied on the classic Boot Brigade to help raise money to continue to serve their citizens. The city has seen the development of the Metcalf South Mall, which at the time of construction was the largest indoor shopping facility in the Kansas City metro area, until a few years later with the construction of the Oak Park Mall. It became apparent in the early 70s that a trend was developing towards the construction of a centralized commercial district in Overland Park outside the central business district in the downtown Kansas City metro area. After many years of planning and zoning, a site was chosen near College in Antioch that would become Corporate Woods. The development of Corporate Woods in the mid-70s created an office park that attracted businesses from all over the world and remains a staple of Overland Park's economic engine, employing a large majority of the city's commercial workforce. With Corporate Woods, Overland Park citizens no longer had to commute more than 15 minutes to work. Part of the beauty of Corporate Woods lies with its original design. The developers wanted to create a true park-like atmosphere when designing the complex and made sure to disturb as few trees and streams as possible to create a desirable place to do business while providing an outdoor escape for the workers and citizens to enjoy trails and gorgeous scenery. With the success of Corporate Woods, more commerce moved into Overland Park around Metcalf and College Boulevard. With so much commerce in the area, the need for hotels emerged, and Overland Park saw the development of the DoubleTree, the Marriott, and Embassy Suites. Years later, the Sheraton and Overland Park Convention Center were built, giving Overland Park one more reason to see an increase in commerce and tourism. Perhaps the biggest business to call Overland Park home is Sprint. They relocated their world headquarters to Overland Park and built a gigantic campus that employs many of Overland Park's residents. Because of this influx of corporate jobs in the area, the need for housing development increased, and Overland Park began building homes further south to accommodate the growing workforce. As more and more people wanted to call Overland Park home, the need for housing in the area increased. The development of what was once farmland to the south became a maze of neighborhood after neighborhood. Part of the attraction to this area are the three well-known school districts that serve the city: Shawnee Mission, Blue Valley, and Olathe schools. These highly accredited schools offer Overland Park children world-class public school education. Their education, however, does not need to end with high school. In the late 1960s, an initiative was put forth to build a community college in Overland Park. Before construction began on the new school in Overland Park, Johnson County Community College set up a campus in the old Merriam School District buildings. By 1971, they would have a campus built at College in Covera that is a staple of the city and consistently ranks as one of the top community colleges in the nation. Over the years, Johnson County Community College has grown from a few buildings to the enormous campus it is today, complete with a cultural center which is home to the arts, and the recent addition of the Nerman Art Museum. And just up the road from JCCC sits the Kansas University Edwards campus, built in the early 90s to offer Johnson County citizens a chance at a KU education without the commute to Lawrence. Overland Park citizens have long had love for the outdoors. Annual parades have weaved their way through downtown for decades now. In addition to the parades celebrating the citizen of Overland Park, outdoor amenities such as world-class golf courses and city pools have made Overland Park a place young and old can play in their free time. A true community. Block parties and getting to know your neighbor make Overland Park a great place to forge lifetime friendships. Many start at a young age, as there is no shortage of activities for the youth of Overland Park to enjoy. In 1978, the Children's Farmstead was opened to help educate kids on what a working turn-of-the-century farm might have looked like. In honor of the first Overland Park police officer killed in the line of duty, the Children's Farmstead was renamed the Deanna Rose Farmstead in 1985. The farmstead sees countless young visitors on a yearly basis and has cemented itself as a near-mandatory field trip for young students near and far. The Deanna Rose Farmstead is only one of many parks worth visiting in one's free time. Overland Park has numerous other parks within the city that allow its citizens to get out and enjoy nature, including the Arboretum, where native and man-made landscapes capture the true beauty this part of the country offers. Recently, the city has seen the opening of the Matt Ross Community Center, named after the early city leader, where kids and adults alike can enjoy the indoor water park and many other fitness and leisure activities. And for the fans of soccer, the Overland Park Soccer Complex is open with plenty of fields to keep young soccer enthusiasts happy. From its humble beginnings, Overland Park is now a model city in many ways. Today, Overland Park is the second largest city in the state of Kansas with a population of more than 170,000. It has a large labor force, which enjoy a higher than average lifestyle. The city is served by 3 school districts, countless parks and public land, thousands of miles of public streets, and enough retail space to serve the growing and expanding population. Through the vision and wisdom of its citizens and leaders, Overland Park is a city which provides the best in housing, shopping, industry, commerce, recreation, education, and government. Who knows what the next 50 years will bring to Overland Park?